All right, on the climb extended. Because I had a thought as I was walking back to the house. I recognize that many of you live in neighborhoods. I said to you, notice who notices you. And if you don't like who you're looking at, elevate. About how to meet new people as we're coming, maybe coming all the way out of COVID-19 this year. Please, Lord, please. And as spring is coming on, the weather is getting warmer, and people want to meet different people. And it's not all about meeting men, it's just about being able to meet people that are on a better vibe and building a better circle. But I recognize that some of you are going to walk out into environments where you don't want to meet the people around you. A lot of you live the way my neighborhood was 30 years ago, where you dress to get to and through what it is you have to do and get back to your house because there's too much going on in the streets outside. The history of redlining, the history of where drugs and guns were put into the Black community has led to a different kind of legacy. And either the people in your community figure out how to get out from under that by working together, or it gets gentrified out, which is what happened. So my family is a gentrified survivor family, and now there's four parks all around us, and I can walk around, do pretty much anything I want. But the payoff of this is forever dealing with what's called survivor's guilt. That's the payoff. However, because my family is a survivor family, I can tell you what my father did to get us the outdoor. My father and my grandmother did to get us the outdoor things we did. Dad would drive us further out into Golden Gate Park so that we would be able to have outdoor play experiences, although they were not with people that looked like us, but we had those experiences. Dad would take us to places that were outside our local area. Grandmother had a backyard, and she had been a farmer, an actual sharecropper. So we learned how to grow food in her backyard. And so we were not out in the street. This is how we were able to get our connect with the outdoors and nature. Sometimes you got to go the extra mile. Okay, so what does that have to do with you? If you live in a neighborhood that was like mine was 30 years ago, and you have to do this for yourself and your children, okay, so you have an important tool. Let's see if we can get it to come off blur, but I'm guessing you recognize this is a cell phone. It's not showing up really well because of the blur, but it's a cell phone. Okay, so wherever you live, the funny thing about life in the Black community, if you grow up in a community like this, you already know that somehow it's almost like there's a force field. You kind of know the limits of how far you can go, but if you're going to elevate your situation, you have to get past the force field. So on your phone, if you want to be around a different caliber of people, find out where they are. I would suggest finding the nearest park, or if you live somewhere that has a beach or a waterside or something like that, or even just outdoors, even if all you have is farmland, somewhere where people go to ease their minds. Uh, Across the bay from me, there's a particular delta that people go to, and they just stay in their cars and watch the water for hours. I have a friend that lives out there. We just got our food to go and just stayed out there and watched the sun go down. And then when California had all these fires, we just sat there and we sat there and we realized that's not the sun going down. That's the fire jumping from hill to hill. We were looking at it. That's kind of scary. It wasn't really relaxing. But in general, that's what people did in that particular part. They went to the water side. So you want to find on a map somewhere that people go to relax with nature. That's very important. You can't do anything else. And then what you want to do is take $30. You may need that $30 for a number of reasons. You may need that to get an outfit that people wear when they go to an environment like that. Because what you want to do is begin to learn how to spend money, not on things that help you cope with your situation, but things that allow you to be immersed in a peaceful environment. I don't know why my camera brightened up when I said that, but it did. So just take it for what it is. You want to do something that will help you find a peaceful environment, not something that helps you cope with the disorder around you. But you want to, in order to elevate your situation, you want to learn how to be in a peaceful environment. So you buy an outfit that works for the part. And I say this because you grew up in the Black community like I did. You know, hoodies and jeans were not the big thing 30 years ago that they are today. But the things that you do as survival strategies in a neighborhood that is really messed up mark you out when you go somewhere else. It's not fair, but it is what it is. On the other hand, and shout out to Sergeant Rufus Abercrombie, Vietnam War veteran who taught me this, how to be comfortable anywhere in the world because he was stationed around the world. Yes, race is an issue, but that issue sometimes comes up because you're tagged with a culture that is stereotyped as being disorderly and disruptive. If you take the time to get an outfit that fits where you're going, and we're not talking about going to something that costs a lot of money, we're talking about going to nature. These are casual athletic clothes. So we're not talking about something that's going to cost a fortune. We're talking about $30. If you dress like you're doing what everybody else is doing, just coming to chill out, most of the times people who are in chill out mode, if it's a public park, will leave you alone. Most of the time. You know, there are some areas, do your research. That's why you got the phone. You're going to look on Google Maps, but you're also going to just look at the history. You don't want to go somewhere that's dangerous. And also, if you've never done this before, this is going to be scary to you, perhaps. So don't go somewhere where you already know, the Daughters of the Confederacy. See how my camera, I don't know why it's doing that actually. I have to figure that out for the next video. But don't go to where the Daughters of the Confederacy have their outdoor meetings. Don't do that. Do some research. Go on YouTube videos, make sure it's a public park. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. The camera's trying to adjust because I'm moving my hands around. Let me put my hands down here. Don't go to somewhere where the local white supremacists hang out. No, it's not that. It's something else going on with the camera. All right, we're gonna wrap this up and then I'll find out what's going on. But don't do that. Find somewhere that's public where people go to relax and dress in the appropriate uniform and go. Because what you want to do, and of course you have that outfit, so it's never going to cost you that much again. Depending on where you live, you may need to walk out to where you can get a Lyft or an Uber. You might need to do that too. But again, how you're dressed really will make a difference. Because again, people do associate certain things with you with your race, but you do get credit for dressing appropriately for whatever it is you're trying to do. People will be like, we don't usually see that person dressed like this, but we're talking about casual athletic clothes. We're not talking about hoodies and jeans and things like. We're not talking about sweatsuits. We're talking about, if it's a cool weather, it's still March, so a sweatsuit without a hood. And I know people shouldn't just discriminate based on, but we're talking about reality. Now, if you absolutely do not have $30, that's a whole different situation. And I recognize that you may not have $30, or you may be in a situation where you are a parent. And now you've not only got to address yourself, but you've also got to address those kids. And now you're looking at your expenses going to go higher, than maybe your kids are a little bit active. Remember, if you live in a disorderly environment, your children are acting out based on the environment they're in. Getting them connected with nature, getting them connected with a peaceful environment will also be very helpful to them, even if you just visited. I used T-School in one of those neighborhoods that still looks a lot like mine did 30 years ago. We took them to Stanford University. And the thing that struck me about Stanford University, their campus is gorgeous and peaceful. One of my mentees went to Dominican University, and even though Dominican is not as supportive as Black people as it could be, it is one of the most beautiful campuses I have ever visited in my life. UC Berkeley is beautiful. San Francisco State is beautiful. Even City College of San Francisco, Phelan campus, if you go up to the right place, I mean, it's crowded. There's 100,000 people before COVID-19 trying to study there. When you get up to the top of the hill and look around, oh my. But those students from this neighborhood at Stanford, these were not people who cared about academics, but they came back saying, what do I need to do to get my grades up? I need to go there, because they wanted that connection with a peaceful environment. So even if it's going to be a little bit more, you might have to, like I said, there's your coping strategies that you use to be able to deal with your disorderly environment versus taking the steps to begin to experience peaceful environments. One more thing, and we'll close up with this. I'm going to be doing perhaps a series about simple mental health things that you could do, just practical things. I'm not a mental health specialist, so I can really only tell you what works for me and the people that I know. But I do know some Black people, like I know a Black man in London who's slow living, but he's living in the city. So it's like slow living adjusted for the city. And a lot of the things that I find myself doing, making time for walks, making time for low impact exercise, things like that, walking home instead of taking public transportation or hiring a car, has to do with slow living. So Black folks are getting on this. And remember, if you go back and do your history, we were the most connected to creation. I mean, like the first. Look, God said that he made man from the dust of the ground. It's some poor dirt that isn't at least as dark as I am. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying what I'm saying about original man. You draw your own conclusions on that. We were the most connected with nature. We are the most equipped, owing to the melanin in our skin, to be able to have long exposure to the sunshine. That's us. So, in terms of us getting our minds right to be able to elevate and do the things that we're able to do, we spend a lot of time talking about Black folks that are messing up. And all this time we spend talking about Black folks that are messing up. Over here, I'm letting you know, no, because I know Black people that are not messing up. Every time I turn around, I see Black people who are doing well. Now, again, I'm a gentrification survivor, so I know what happens to you if you don't do the things you need to do when you need to do them. I watched a generation disappear before my eyes. But I also watched how my parents and grandparents kept me from being among that generation. And some of those things I practice myself and can pass on to you. I'm giving some thought to it because, like I said, I'm not an expert in the area. I can only tell you practically. Right now, I'm dealing with 4 deaths, plus the leftovers from COVID, plus some injury, plus some other things. And trying to keep it even keel right now is very hard. But being able to connect with creation, being able to do low impact exercise as opposed to stressing my body out even more, makes a big difference for me being level enough to continue to minister to you through doing content and continuing to move forward, because there's like 5,000 business things going on, and none of that we're going to get into today. But just know, staying on the climb is not just physical. It's taking care of this, and it's taking care of your emotions. So to round this video out, your phone and $30 will get you access to environments where you can experience peace. I'm not talking about coping. You might need to take money away from coping strategies, where you can take yourself, and if you have children, maybe take a little bit more advanced planning. My father would take us to playgrounds that were just a little further away, because that's what had to happen. So you use that same phone, you go on Google Maps, you find a playground, you spend another, maybe it's going to take you $60, and you just figure out, watch YouTube videos about the place, see how people are dressed, invest in that, and go. Take your children to an environment which has more peace. Will you meet racism? Of course. But can you hold it at bay a little bit, like coming in a uniform, if you will, that the people are there? If it's a public park in most places in the United States, I mean, there's probably some Southern exceptions, but make it happen. I got friends out here and, people that I know walking around in North Dakota, the South, exploring the landscape and just making things happen. Do your research. $30 on the phone, depending on how many people you have to take with you, $60 on the phone. But get to places where you can elevate. It doesn't come easy. Like I said, I'm a survivor of, my family is a gentrification survivor family. That didn't come easy. My father and my grandfather paid for me to enjoy what I enjoy. Some of you have to start your generation one. But I can tell you that the peace that you attain for your children and what you do today to begin to seek peace will benefit your children and your grandchildren, because I'm a witness of what my father and my grandparents got, my parents and my grandparents accomplished. All right. Y'all have a good day now. By the time you see this, it will be the morning time. I will be doing work, but I'll probably hit you with another brief on the climb video tomorrow, because I'm trying to get back out there and we got some nice days going on. If not, I'll exercise indoors and you'll see me in a couple days, but we'll try to stay with it. But remember, starts here. On the climb starts here. So even if you don't see me, know I'm doing something. to keep it moving in the right direction. All right, you have a good day now. Bye. Thank you for watching. And hello, I know I have at least one new subscriber. Hello to you. And thank you for my regular. None of you have to be here. It's nothing I take for granted. The subscribers I already had, my old subscribers, thank you for staying with me. All right. Have a good day now. Goodbye.